Power Up Summit. Alcides Pelzer here, host of the hashtag Speakeasy podcast. And this session is all about you becoming hashtag unmuted. Hey, look, it's time to spill the tea. What does that mean? Well, here's the tea. You are not the only one. You're not the only one that wants to tell your story. You're not the only one that wants to earn some money. And you're not the only one that wants to achieve some goals. But here's the thing. You are the one that has literally the significant seed that someone else may need for them to receive their harvest. I look at it like this. Ayala Van Zandt says it this way: tell your story because your story will heal you and it will heal someone else. Oftentimes, we become muted by life circumstances, by our past experiences, by just the community we may be in, the household we grew up in, right? And we think that our personal story is not one of value. Check this out, though. When it comes to spilling the tea, people are telling their story every day on podcasts, blogs, in books, across social media. They're speaking on stages globally. They're doing webinars. They're getting on national and international news media outlets, and they're in magazines. So what's holding you back from spilling the tea? I can tell you one of the top reasons that I have found that even women who have already gone and written the book, even women who have already gone and stepped out and been on a stage, why they are still scared of spilling the tea. That would be because they don't realize how valid and valuable their story is. So I want you to say this out loud. My story is both valid and valuable. No. I want you to say it boldly. My story is both valid and valuable. See, here's what you learn. While you fight to sit at someone else's table, there's someone else that's fighting for their life. Let that sink in for a moment. What you've been through, the wisdom that you have gained, it's literally for someone else. And you never know who that person will be until you learn what it means to really spill the tea, to be vulnerable and allow yourself to talk about where you've been so that way you can help somebody else get through that same scenario. Listen, I understand, and I wish this was an easy task. And a lot of times it sounds a lot easier than what it really is, but it's going to take some tenacity on your part. It's going to take some vulnerability on your part, but also you're going to need some help. So hear me out. Let's go on. Spilling the tea. Now, there's a whole lot of ways to spill the tea, but these are the main 3 ways that you can spill the tea to be able to go ahead and share your story, not just locally, nationally, but globally. First and foremost, make the connection. Now, here's the thing. I get so many people who go and who will inbox me and will send me a message and they're like, oh, I want to connect. Or people who will send me a friend's request and they don't really understand what it means to make a connection. See, becoming unmuted when it comes to making connections means service. How can I serve you? And so when I am looking to connect to certain people, I show up and I serve. Some of you have come across me in serving in one capacity or another, at one event or another, behind the scenes, while someone was doing a webinar or launching a book. or starting a business. You've seen me, but you haven't been close enough to see what it really looks like. Make the connections, real connections, not just Facebook followers, not just Instagram followers. Make real connections. The second thing is you got to get out there and tell the story. Spill the tea. Listen, I know some people are really reserved when it comes to their personal story. They don't want to talk about the missteps. They don't want to talk about the failures. But guess what? Your failure could lead to strengthening someone else in their faith. Understand that 100%. It's time to spill the tea. And here's where almost all people, when it comes to spilling the tea, here's where they stop. They completely miss this part. Are you following up? What does that look like? Following up for some people are just like, oh, when is the episode going to come out? Oh, let me share this out on social media. No. Following up is taking the conversation to another level. It's going back and seeing again how I can serve. What can I do to strengthen this relationship? Now, listen, these are 3 of the easy steps, but trust me, if you stay to the end, I actually have a resource for you that breaks it all down. Now, you're going to ask, well, Altavis, how do you know all of this stuff? Hear me out. I know. It's going to sound weird, but I am the world's worst introvert. Now, I was given this title by a friend by the name of Davy Williams, and it was so funny the first time he said it, but it was so true. I had to learn that my story was valid and valuable. There was somebody that needed it, and I didn't know where that person was. But I had to ask myself this question: will you be a light or will you be a mirror? Can I be honest with you? A lot of entrepreneurs have become mirrors. I mean, that's one of the reasons why they fight so hard to be at the table. Because if I fight to be at the table, then I'll look like the people at the table. If I fight really hard to be at this table, then I'll be a reflection of the people at the table. But I challenge you, instead of fighting to be a reflection of the people at the table, fight to be the light in the room. Matthew 5:14 says, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden." Here's the thing. There's a really important word in there that I want you to grab a hold onto with both hands. Built. You were built for this. And even though you may have gone through some of the most difficult things in your life, you were built for this. You're still alive. There's still breath in your body. And that means that there's still work for you to do. So will you be the mirror or will you be the light? Now, this has been a process that I've had to come to grips with because I am an introvert. And so therefore I was not the loudest one in the room. I was not the one that was always at the front of the room, but I was deliberate about letting my light shine. At the beginning of this session, I told you guys that I am the host of the #SpeakEasy podcast. I'm also an author / co-author of 20 books. I'm also a women's empowerment speaker. I'm also an advocate and a mom and a sister and a friend and so many other titles, right? And many of you can definitely relate to that. But I came in to entrepreneurship thinking that I had to be that mirror. That was the way up. Because if I just looked the part, then people would trust me. If I just looked the part, then people would believe in me and want to pay me and want to do all of these things. But it wasn't until I went ahead and I started being that light that I started winning awards. When I decided to be that light, my name was in rooms that I had not stepped into yet. An example of this, quarterly, I sit on a panel with other major network media executives. And I give insight about people who are looking to pitch to the media. I do this every quarter. Now, other people would probably say, oh, well, oh, how did you do that? How did you find that? I didn't find it. They found me. Why? Because a light on a hill cannot be hidden. So you've been wondering why you're still in the dark? You've been wondering why your business has not been earning any money? Do a self-check. Are you the light or are you the mirror? And when you make that clear distinction, what will you do to be the brightest light that you can be? How will you fight to be the brightest light that you can possibly be? That's important. I get it. It's easier to be hidden sometimes because then we can kind of hide behind our insecurities. We can hide behind what they said we should be and what they said we should look like and what they said. And we can use that as the reason why we're not fully just stepping in who it is that we truly are. You are valid and valuable. Your story is valid and valuable. It's time for you to become unmuted. Now, I love being able to do this session because it's a very simple session. It's one where the message is very clear and to the point, precise. Are you being the light in the rooms that you are stepping into? Are people looking at you and saying, I need to connect with her. I need to find out what she's doing. I just had someone who has a publishing company who just reached out about working with me, having me do a la carte services for their publishing company. Why? Because I'm a light on the hill. I challenge you. Take some time to become #unmuted. Really sit down with yourself and say, again, my story is valid and valuable. And then not only say it until you believe it. Fight to be the light in the room, not just to be a mirror sitting at the table. Let's connect. You can connect with me at Altavis Unmuted on Instagram, or you can go to my website at iamunmuted.com. But here's the part that I really want you to tap into. It's time for you to spill the tea. It's time for you to tell your story, to earn some money, and to achieve your goals. And one of the ways that you're able to do that is by wiping your feet. Y'all know, Nana used to tell you before you walked into her home, you had to wipe your feet because you had to make sure that anything you were stepped in or came across while you were on the other side doesn't go with you when you step into that room, when you step into that home. And so this ebook is one that is full of the information that I have downloaded from years of sitting on panels with other large media outlets, finding out what they look for when it comes to guests, finding out what event hosts and conference leaders are looking for when it comes to guests. Why? Because when it comes to spilling the tea, the value is when I spill it and it helps someone, it empowers them. The reality is that a lot of people may spill the tea, but it's not them spilling it into someone else's cup. It's them spilling it and making a mess. We're not about making a mess. So if you're looking to get that ebook, matter of fact, you should be looking to get that ebook. It's bit.ly/wipe your feet. It's time to take things to a whole nother level. Now, if you're saying, Alcides, I really want to take this all the way in, let's connect. Again, go to my website and there's a form for you to be able to fill out to message me. And then you will receive a message back within 48 hours. It's time to become #unmuted. This is Alcides, host of the #Speakeasy podcast. And until next time, guys, don't forget to press it out. See ya.